Greetings and salutations, YouTubers. This is ZillaFan85, back today with my latest video. Today is my latest figure review. Today, definitely one I'm excited to do. We are going to go ahead and take a look at my MonsterArts Biollante figure. And this, again, like I said, definitely excited for this. This is pretty much my my holy grail of figures. So, just kind of something to note there. I mean, you know, this was the original release of Biollante, not the special color version that later came out. You know, was a pretty highly sought after piece. You know, definitely wasn't cheap. You know, but again, like I said, definitely was a grail figure for me. So really was super happy to get a hold of it, and she just looks absolutely fantastic in my collection. I really love this. Definitely one of my favorite figures for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it here. Obviously, Biollante's one and only film appearance was from the 1989 film Godzilla vs. Biollante, you know, which is definitely among my favorite Godzilla films. So, again, you know, really exciting stuff here. So with the paint and the detail, just to start it off with, we'll go ahead and take a little look-see. It's going to be a little hard to do because this is a pretty large figure here, but we'll do the best we can. You know, lift the camera up so you guys can see, but you can take a look at the face. You got all the scales. And they sort of, because Biollante was a combination of Godzilla cells, plant cells, and also the soul of the doctor who created her, Dr. Shiragami's daughter, who had passed away in an explosion in the film. So pretty interesting lore for sure. But you can see sort of these plant-like scales that she's got all those sort of rivets there on the top of her head, and all that scaliness there. And you got these nice tusks here. So you got the sort of like this foresty green color for Biollante, kind of done throughout the entire body. But there's definitely some black wash on there, some different shades of green as well, as you guys can kind of see. Then, like I said, the tusks here in this sort of creamish bone color. Really nicely done, sharp to the touch, so a nice hard plastic for these. You got the two on the upper part of the mouth, and then the two, and then one each on the each side on the lower portion of the jaw there. Of course, you got the mouth itself, with all, again, these cream color bone teeth, all individually sculpted, and you got that all those sort of teeth or spikes on the inside of both the roof of the mouth and on the tongue. Really cool. The mouth itself in this sort of pinkish gum color. Looks really good. Real nice attention to detail there. Absolutely beautiful. And again, look here, you can see the nostrils sculpted in. Again, more of the scales. Got the eyes, which are in this sort of purplish color, I would say, for the eyes. Pretty cool looking, though, like a metallic purple, I would say. You guys can see on the other side there. Really love those eyes. They really pop out, and there's like no pupils in them, so it's just that blank purplish color, which is really cool, though. I like that. And you got sort of these plant-like dorsal plates, dorsal spines that go along her back here. You got the larger center row. Very nice sculpting and detail work there. You got like smaller dorsal spines on the outside. Again, like a combination of like sort of spine and plant, but like with a plant-like feel about it. Because again, the combination of Godzilla and the plant cells. So very cool mixture there. Really love all that. You guys can see, again, all the scales done throughout, and she's also got all these spikes protruding from her body here, and these are done in like a very dark green, almost a blackish color there. And again, they're real sharp to the touch. So really cool. Again, very sharp, like I said. Really well sculpted. Again, some of that different shading of green done throughout there. As you guys can see, all the scales along her body. And of course, you got these tentacles or tendrils, if you want to call them, the vines that protrude from her. They all have these mouths on them. And of course, this is Biollante's final form. So you earlier see her in the rose form, which I do have the Super 7 figure of that. I'll review that sometime in the future, but just wanted to look at her final form now. Again, more of the cream color done throughout all the, that cream bonish color, I should say, for all the vine mouths that she's got. And again, more of that pinkish gum color on the inside of their mouths, all the detail work, just kind of showcasing you guys. I mean, I could probably be here all day just going over all the detail and paint work that's done on this figure, because it's really, just really awesome, but just kind of trying to run through it. But again, all the viney texturing done throughout each of the tendrils, vines. And you even have sort of these sort of vines themselves wrapping around that actually protrude out, and they are supposed to be like that. So that's actually a film accurate detail as well. And so each of these tendrils has that stuff, those vines that wrap around like that. So you guys can see, you got more of the spikes as well done on all these tendrils here. Really, really cool. Again, all that sort of plant-like texturing done throughout. Really, really awesome. I mean, it's hard to really do this figure justice. That's how good it is. And then, of course, you got the sac, the nucleus sac in the center there, and this sort of like a translucent orangish color, which is really cool. And there is a gimmick that goes along with this as well. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But again, all that scaliness and plant-like texturing done throughout. Again, more of the spikes, as you guys can see there. Just a quick little look on the bottom here, so you guys can see there is a battery compartment with a switch, and that's what I was kind of talking about there as far as the some of the gimmick, or as far as the gimmick goes, but we'll look at that in a moment. But otherwise, just kind of plain. We got some of the branding at Bandai, you know, Toho, licensing information on the bottom, branding information, and just taking a quick little look-see at her back again. More of the dorsal plates here going throughout, all those, that plant-like feature about them, and just really, really awesome. Like I said, I can't express it enough how cool this figure is. Like I said, there's a reason why this was a grail figure for me and for a lot of people. But again, just kind of one little look around here, and just really, really excellent stuff here. So as far as kind of the best I could do, kind of going over the paint and the detail work on Biollante, let's go ahead and let's take a look at, I guess while we're at it though, before we get into articulation, let's just take a quick little look at that gimmick. So like I said, so you got this switch. So you see there's 2 dots on this end and 1 dot on that end. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. So we switch it to 1. In the center it's off. So it actually lights up. Let me see if I can, there we go. If I shut the light, now you guys can see it. That's really cool. It's when it glows that orangey color. I believe that was when she was getting ready to use her sort of acid spit, acid beam, as I kind of call it, on Godzilla, which is really cool. And then we'll switch it back off, and then we'll switch it to the 2 slot, and there it lights up red, which I guess was when she was sort of her lifespan was pretty much running out. And I kind of forgot to mention, but you got the nice sort of interwoven patterning here from her vines and her scales going around that nucleus sac. So that's really cool, and when it's lit up, it really kind of pops. So again, just a cool little look at that. Takes two of the, I believe, LR44 batteries in that compartment. So again, turn the light back on. So again, just so you guys are aware of that. But very, that's a cool gimmick, though. I really like that. So, and otherwise, though, so now we'll go ahead and jump into the articulation itself. So we'll start up here, Biollante's face, the head here. So the jaw is, I believe, like most of MonsterArts figures, this is actually, I think, ball jointed. Doesn't really, thankfully, not really twist to each side. So basically, you can open it. You can get a decent range open like that. You can kind of capture that scene when she was biting Godzilla's head, which was pretty funny. And of course, pretty much closes all the way, so very cool. Like that. And then the neck, or the head going into the neck area, you got, as you guys can see, you've got the head here where it joins on the top of the neck. This is on a ball joint, so you can look down a little bit, up a little bit like that. You can add to that range because there's another ball joint here. You can look side to the side, and up a little bit more, down a little bit more, and then there's another ball joint to add to the range of motion here. Again, so you can look up further, down further, swing each side a little bit further. Slight bit of rotation in each joint as well. And then there's another ball joint here. So to look up even further, down even further, again, out to each side, a little bit of turn. Trying to do the best I can. It doesn't move a whole lot, but at least though, you know, it's there. So, I mean, it's cool nonetheless. And there's actually another ball joint here. Well, to even add to that, go further up, further down, side to side, and turn. And with that, you see this flap here as well. This is actually meant to move with her, so that if you're going to reposition the head sculpt, this flap on, I think more of like a hinge actually, and it will kind of encompass the bottom of the neck so that you can keep it so that's not looking all weird. And it's supposed to help with the range of motion, so that's not like a solid piece of plastic here. So it's actually, in my opinion, that's pretty good engineering. So and then you can reposition that to have her in different poses. And you see this here as well, this sort of punch where the spines are. Also have a ball joint, I believe somewhere in there. And you can sort of add to her range of motion with that. But you guys can sort of see. Alright, sorry about that. I just wanted to reposition the head in place. But actually it's on like a little piece that sort of slides a bit. So you can just use it to add to her range of motion. So pretty cool though, nonetheless, absolutely. And then moving down into her tendrils or vines, whatever you want to call them. So there are ball joints done throughout, almost like, or essentially like any MonsterArts tail. So you got the ball joints here at each of the bases on the four tendrils. So like these legs basically that the tendrils protrude out from. These are all on ball joints. Mainly you can swivel them. They don't really do much else as far as range of motion goes, but they have decent range of swivel nonetheless. And then, like I said, ball joints done throughout each of the tendrils there, so you can position them differently. And like any MonsterArts tail, I'm not going to really go too crazy with them, but you guys can see, though, you get a pretty good range of motion. Obviously, if you move them too much, they can pop out of place, just as any MonsterArts, tail, etc., but still pretty cool nonetheless. And then, of course, each of the heads have ball joints for the jaws, so you can close them. That, of course, open them up. Get a pretty decent range out of them. Some are a little bit more free than others. You can always heat up the joints to move them more as you wish, but just so you guys can sort of see there. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. Like I said, just a really well done figure in my opinion. So anyways, so I think for the most part that pretty much covers the articulation here. Like I said, you definitely have a lot of joints, so a lot of you wouldn't think for a big bulky figure like Biollante here you wouldn't get a lot, but you'd be quite surprised what you can do. So you can definitely get a lot of different sort of poses with her, and that gimmick with the light up nucleus sac certainly adds to that. So other than that though, as far as sizing goes, so I'll take out the ruler first here and measure her pretty much. Raise the head up somewhat. It's not easy, not always the easiest, but so you guys can sort of see here, if you look especially towards the top of that spine, it's pretty close to about 8 inches. So it's, again, she's a pretty beefy figure. So and obviously with the girth as well, she'll definitely be imposing on a shelf, to say the least. So, but very, very awesome there. And now, just as a size comparison, the perfect figure to size her in with is the SH MonsterArts Godzilla 1989 figure here. And just kind of, because it's a little difficult to sort of pump them in directly, but I'll lift the camera up and just so you guys can take a little look around. But you see though, she definitely definitely has some size on him, definitely pretty much towers over him, which is how it should be, because Biollante in her final form is supposed to be a lot bigger than Godzilla. So I believe at this point he was supposed to be 80 meters, and she, I think, was more like 120 meters. So, but very, very awesome. But, you know, again, MonsterArts designed these to, you know, basically be size accurate. So, very, very cool. And set the back down, just so you guys can see there. Really, really awesome. That's really just a perfect pairing in my opinion. Now, as far as pricing, now that unfortunately is the kind of tricky part. The special color version, at least from what I've seen, is still a bit cheaper than the original release. That one, but that's not to say it's cheap, because and it's already aftermarket on that. So if you want the special color one, you might be looking at around $300 or so for the original release here. Like I have, maybe not, it's not as pricey as it used to be because the special color one was released. However, I would still say you're probably looking at about $500 and up. So you just got to keep that in mind. But if you're willing to pay to play, really you can't go wrong. I definitely recommend this figure. I think Biollante here is absolutely, absolutely awesome and fantastic. So, and again, she was one of my Grail figures, and I'm super, super happy to have her in my collection. Other than that, though, folks, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I would definitely like to thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. If you would like to like and or comment on any of my videos, please feel free to do so as well. And just remember, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you be good to yourselves, and sayonara.